I will share my interventions by providing the Africa's experience and sometimes drawing examples from Tanzania and other countries in Africa. The moderator posed 3 questions. The first one, why do we need more women? My immediate answer, I could say, is because we are the majority in most of the cases. If we look into the statistics for most of the countries, the variation is quite minor, especially in African countries, can be between 0.5 up to 2 in terms of population distribution between men and women. So my immediate answer could say we need more women because of those minor differences in terms of population distribution to most of the African countries for that matter. And also we need women because in foreign policy, security affairs, like in the other fields, they've not been participating and there have been some perception. Maybe if they are engaged in a broader perspective, then they could make change. They could get an opportunity to make change, but that has not been realized. This underrepresentation of women in foreign policy and security issues, I could say, in the context of Africa, can be reflected in 2 aspects. The first one is the whole question of nation building, because, for example, foreign policy, security issues have been taken to be the preside. For example, the executive has been leading, and other institutions like the parliament and others, they just come in the process. So the emphasis, for example, since has been to increase the number, but now to what degree those women contribute is also important, because the way I see it, yes, we can have more, but do they make impact in the same system which has been created by patriarchy or by that perspective which will continue to make men's domination in those fields? And also, underrepresentation can be reflected in the way we perceive, for example, security affairs. Most people reflect security from the hard security, state security perspective. But if we are to look into how gender relations are translated into the society, we could see that it's not just the state security. When we talk about peace, for example, a state can be peaceful, but women are continuing to suffer within that peaceful society. So there's a need to look into security from the human perspective, which can give us a clear picture on how both men and women are engaged in those affairs. The last intervention that I could make is what needs to be done. Most of the focus has been, for example, to say, maybe we engage men in these discussions, but for the Africa's perspective, there are also variations in terms of cultural differences and backgrounds, whereby, for example, FGM, female genital mutilation, is bad in itself, but some societies perceive that in order to be respected, one needs to undergo through FGM. So those variations need to include all women in those, to have a clear understanding of what the goal that the society wants to achieve. So it's not just to include men, but also to include other women who have not been perceiving those differences in terms of gender as part of the process.